Nordic architecture and design has had a profound influence not only globally, but particularly on Northwest architecture and its integral relationship to nature and joy of space and light. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker tonight, John Nelson. John is an Oregon native with family roots in the border region of Sweden and Norway. After a bachelor's degree from the University of Oregon School of Architecture and Allied Arts, he received his master's from the University of Edinburgh School of Urban and Regional Planning. His academic concentration in design and urban development has led to teaching posts at Gloucestershire University in England and University of Illinois, until returning to Portland to enter private practice. His firm, the Mitchell Nelson Group, provided multidiscipline design and planning services for 30 years until merging with Maul Foster Alongi, where John joined the board of directors until retirement in 2014. But he also continued his teaching at the University of Oregon and Portland State University, and in recent years has advised the University of Oregon's Sustainable Cities Initiative. At the University of Oregon, he has fostered the Scandinavian Design Fund to provide support for faculty to explore and expand the impact and influence of Scandinavian design practice, including its local relevance to the Pacific Northwest. He values his Nordic roots and serves as president of the board of Nordic Northwest. Combining those Nordic roots with his architectural expertise, he has a deep interest in the history and precepts of Nordic architecture, which he will be sharing with us tonight. John Nelson.
Thank you very much, Sonia, for the introduction, and thank you to the Friday Night Lecture Committee, Joanna and Osa. The Friday Night Lecture Series has been going on for a number of years, decades in fact. It's one of the more successful programs here at Nordic Northwest. So I hope to continue a successful track record here tonight. It's remarkable to me that a region containing 5 lightly populated countries has had such a sort of disproportionate impact on global taste and design. All the Nordic countries combined have roughly a third of the population of Germany, maybe 40% of the UK. But there's something in that Nordic mind and the ability to design and draw and craft that has certainly had a profound impact on the world. Thank you for everyone who's attending tonight in person, and all those to you on YouTube. Thank you for attending tonight. The perspectives, as the title slide shows, are my own. My perspectives were developed, I guess I could say I'm kind of a mid-century modern person because I'm a child educated in the 60s, the U of O, of course. I've traveled a great deal. I've studied art history, architecture, but I'm not a scholar, and I'm not a historian. I can't claim that in my resume, my vita. But I just have a passion, I have a great art, and a great appreciation for what Scandinavians have done over the years. Let's start here. Let's start at the beginning. What do these symbols have in common, and why are they important to us? Well, they're both Nordic, and they're both very familiar worldwide. If you live in Bangladesh, or in Kazakhstan, or in London, you know these symbols. One, of course, is Bluetooth, and one is IKEA. IKEA was started in 1943. It's still largely privately held, and it revolutionized not only marketing and self-assembly furniture, but it popularized the simplicity and the pure functional design of Scandinavia. Nowadays, IKEA is involved in artificial intelligence. They have a construction end with Skanska Corporation globally, so they've branched out into many different things. But it's become a corporation that's far more than just dormitory apartment furniture, but more than that. Now, Bluetooth is interesting because, as you know, Bluetooth connects wireless devices together. It goes back into the 1990s when companies, if I have this right, companies like Intel and Ericsson and Nokia had their own proprietary technology. But these devices couldn't talk to each other. So a handful of engineers met in Sweden in the 1990s and said, we got to figure this out. We need to create a seamless way for all these devices to communicate with one another. And they developed Bluetooth. Now, that was called the Special Interest Group. Bluetooth, for many of you that know this, but those that you don't, it's quite interesting. Bluetooth is for Harold the Bluetooth, Harold Gormson, a 10th century king in Denmark. He was the great unifier. He brought regions of Denmark together. One would say he, quote unquote, conquered Norway. In other books, he gathered Norway together into a greater population. He brought Christianity to the Danes. So he's considered the great unifier. And he was named Bluetooth because of a dental issue. But he brought everything together, hence Bluetooth being a convenient name. Now, the logo is actually two runes. The vertical line here separates a figure that looks like a bee, and that is technically the B for Bluetooth in a rune, and the H, this device here, this angle, those are two different runes. These engineers put those together and said, great, now we have a Bluetooth symbol. Well, everybody in the world knows that now. And what's important about these two simple little symbols is they're recognizable, global, they're simple, uncomplicated, memorable, cross-cultural, and democratic. Like I say, if you are in Beijing or in London, you know these symbols. If you are a blue-collar coal miner or if you are Jeff Bezos, you are familiar with these. It's absolutely across the board. So these are basically the guiding principles of Scandinavian design. Recognizable, simple, uncomplicated. And as we go through the slides, you'll begin to see, I hope, that I've communicated the elegance of Scandinavian design, not just in buildings, but also in fabrics and glassware and everyday objects. Now, in this long worded slide, these are the key features of Scandinavian design more precisely, or guiding principles. Scandinavian design combines minimalism, functionality, and beauty. It's characterized in architecture by simple lines forming light-filled, uncluttered spaces. Here's one you're in tonight. This is largely influenced by Scandinavian design, particularly when the windows are open during the daytime. And these principles are applied to interior design, furniture, textiles, ceramics, and lighting. Nothing superfluous, avoid the unnecessary, focus on essential elements of every product. Those are kind of the boil it down, those are the basic ingredients of Scandinavian or Nordic design. Okay, here's a picture of a simple little stool. It's made of birch. It was made in 1930s by Alvar Aalto. It's lacquered birch. It is used as a seat or a side table, and it has little bent legs. Now, this leg here was a technological innovation here, and I'll come back to this in a few minutes. The fact that that's bent, it's made of layers of veneer glued together, that's quite an advancement in technology in how to build furniture. This little stool is still made today. You can buy these. They're sturdy because they hold a tremendous amount of compression of weight. They resist torque. There's side movement, very strong. And he solved the problem of most furniture. And then all chairs, when you look at all chairs, you have this problem of transfer of weight, particularly when you twist. So you get wobbly legs. So the whole connection of sort of the leg to the platform you're sitting on is always complicated. But this is a very simple, elegant solution here. Still made today. Here's a beautiful lamp. Think of this, 1937, Jakobsen light, over 25 million of these have been produced. They're still making them today. I had several in my studio. I still have one on my desk in my home office. They're remarkable. They mimic a human body, of course, with the hip and the knee and the wrist. And this light here can work for your task lighting, for jewelry making, or wood carving, or architectural work. It can be used to highlight artwork on a wall. It could be uplighted. And then, of course, in spy movies, they always aimed it at the bad guy, and where were you on the night of such and such. Think of that time period, 1937 to today. It's still modern. It's simple. It's an engineering marvel, and it works very well. It's all virtually indestructible. Here's another one. Think of this. 1969, these bathroom fittings are still made today. You can go down to George Moreland, and you can see these in the shop. They're very well engineered and crafted. I know in all your kitchens, I think most of us are critical of cheap hardware where it seems flimsy. You get on one of these and they feel so well engineered. There's a heft to it. There's a weight. The tap works. The water is slow. Water is fast. These have not changed. Maybe some of the internal fittings inside probably have changed over the years. This Jakobsen is a Dane. The light was created by a Norwegian. So simple, everyday objects. They're lasting, functional, beautiful, timeless designs. Many of you have these objects in your own home. The Broder next door has if you go and look up, you'll see a light fixture very similar to that. Most of us have butter paddles and so forth at home. I mean, it's remarkable. These are so simple, so well crafted, so tasteful, and globally loved. Scandinavian people, the Nordic people, are very proud of their traditions and their culture. Their heritage is a central component in their hearts and their love. But they also celebrate modern design. 20th century design in utensils, hardware, buildings, fashion, and fabric. In this Airbus A320, painted in a Marimekko fabric design, is a good example of that. Here's the Finnish national airline with, rather than putting logos all over, they put the Marimekko fabric. I don't know if you can tell the little error I made in this slide. I didn't catch this until yesterday. There's a text box in here, and you'll see an N for Nordic Northwest. I forgot to take it off, but the color fits perfectly. Apparently, our graphic designers chose the same color number. Yes, yeah. Okay, so there's a consistent pattern in design, whether it's a simple wooden spoon or a building. Craftsmanship, simplicity, elegance, durability, and lasting value, both to the person that's using it and to the community. It's very Scandinavian, community-based.